Hello, and welcome to this month's Qi Talk through Spring Forest Qigong. My name is Henry Gerstman, and I'm coming to you from northeastern New Jersey in the United States. I have practiced Spring Forest Qigong since 2013 when I read Master Lin's book, Born a Healer. I was born a healer. You were born a healer too. Since then, I have progressed to becoming a Spring Forest Qigong certified practice group leader and also a certified trainer. My topic today, as you have seen advertised, is living in the rainbow. I've actually changed and altered that title a little bit, so it now reads Living in the Rainbow Today and Every Day. And I have added more to the topic for today's Qi Talk, and will be living before the beginning of the universe, today and every day. I'll say it again, living before the beginning of the universe, today and every day. And so before I begin, and we want to have fun today, I don't want to be very, very heavy. I believe life should be fun. And we do Spring Forest Qigong, and we enjoy that. And I would like to tell you about a dream I had. And I'm starting off with this dream. I had the other day in the morning. I didn't have any idea that I was going to include this dream in the talk today. But the other day in the morning, I got this message: include the dream in your talk. So here it is. In this dream, and there's a reason for me telling you the dream too. I was lying down flat on my back, perhaps on a floor, on a yoga mat, or on a bed, or a cot. It wasn't very clear, as dreams are very often not that clear. And in the dream, again, I'm lying on my back, and a female figure put her hands over my eyes like that. And she held her hands there for quite a while. Again, the way dreams are, you can't measure time so much. But after a while, she removed her hands from my eyes and she walked away from where I was. And she began saying, in a way that I could hear, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. It's making me even cry. It is almost hurting me because I love you so much. It's hurting to love so much. And that was the end of the dream. Okay. Now, it's risky to include a dream in my Qi talk, but the reason for the dream is I have ascertained it's really not about me. It's about you. It's about everybody. And the figure who held her hands over my eyes, I would, in my thoughts, attribute it to Kuan Yin, or Buddha, or Jesus, could have been male figures. And the message of the dream is a metaphor for everybody else. It's not about me, it's about you. And the reason we are going to, I am including the dream in the talk, is because our talk is going to move on into the idea and feelings of universal unconditional love. And this dream was a metaphor for that. So, with that being said, let's move forward. And I want to say that as I introduce myself, I am in northeastern New Jersey, and I regard the fact that I am grounded to the earth, and you are grounded to the earth too. We are all grounded, and we're all connected in that way. And I'm going to put up a slide here so you can see the screen share. And There we go. And in that screen share, it says we are neighbors everywhere. And my way of saying that in terms of the talk is that we are all grounded. And we look at our planet Earth, and we have, the continents and so many people. And I like to look at the planet Earth as a small town. Yes, a small town. And we all live in towns, big and small, or even cities. Some of us live in apartment buildings and their neighbors. And in our towns or apartment buildings, we have our neighbors and other houses or other apartments nearby. These are our neighbors, and often we know some of them or many of them. And I like to look at our planet Earth as being a small town. So when we talk about the continents, well, we're talking about houses. Each house, each continent is a house, a neighbor's house on our planet Earth. So we talk about India or China or Africa, uh, Australia, New Zealand, South America, Europe, everywhere. These are our neighbors. They're living in small houses. Our planet seems to be very, very big in the larger context of this enormous universe, but actually it's really quite small. We don't know how small it is in the context of this enormous universe, and even our enormous universe might be quite small in given another context. So we are all neighbors, and I want to just highlight that fact, and we'll come back now to my Master Lin's teaching, and I was my introduction of our connection, you and I and all of us in the whole world. Master Lin his teaching at Spring Forest has transformed my life spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And I'd like to share with you some of that transformation, and that we are all grounded and participating in Master Lin's vision of a healer in every home and a world without pain and suffering. So moving forward with the Chi Talk now, after this introduction, when I read a book, particularly if it's nonfiction, I will go to the end of the book early on, just to scan the last chapter, because the last chapter is going to hold the summary of all the previous chapters, which is the reason I wanted to read the book, and that I'm a little impatient, sorry to say, but I want to not have to wade through all the chapters and paragraph by paragraph, and then to get to the conclusion. So I like to sort of what we call a spoiler alert and see where it's headed. And so I will do that today with our Chi Talk. I'm going to take you to where we're headed. And where are we headed in this Chi Talk? We're headed to a place of pure unconditional love, universal pure unconditional love, as existed before the beginning of the universe and exists today, even now, and tomorrow, and every day. And that pure unconditional love before the beginning of the universe was everywhere. And after the beginning of our universe and our solar system as we are now, that universal unconditional love is a presence everywhere. We cannot see it in the air, but it is there. We are breathing it in. Likewise, we are seeing the colors. The colors are really a subset of universal unconditional love, because the colors could not exist if it hadn't been for the creation, that love that created our universe. So the colors are really dependent on that love. And we cannot, and so in a similar way, the colors are in the air that we cannot see. And the love is in the air that we cannot see. It's in this space, inside and outdoors. It's the space of the universe. It's the space that surrounds us, and it's the space that we breathe in. consciously or unconsciously, that is what it is. So that's where we're headed, along with a meditation, which we'll get to briefly. There are three major sections to the Qi Talk today. And the first section is, as the title goes, living today and every day in the vibrational colors of the rainbow. We are fascinated by rainbows because it contains the vibrating healing colors of our 5-element Qigong healing movements. So colors are very relevant to us as Spring Forest Qigong practitioners. The second section of the talk today will be living today and every day before the beginning of the universe, as I've already mentioned. And third, we'll be exploring living today and every day with the metta meditation, which is metta means loving kindness in the Pali language, P-A-L-I. Metta is M-E-T-T-A, and it means loving kindness, and it's a Buddhist practice. It's a transformational practice in which we can incrementally rewrite our stories, or sometimes dramatically have instantaneous rewriting of our stories, opening our deepest blockages. And we want to feel the breathing, and we want to feel the breathing and the healing colors, and we want to feel the presence before the beginning of the universe as a prelude to doing the metta meditation, the loving kindness meditation. So that is a lot we're going to cover. Hope it's not come across as too heavy and too serious, because I believe we're going to have fun. I think that spiritual unconditional love is the intrinsic nature of the divine, and love, spiritual love, is spiritual fun. Spiritual unconditional love is spiritual fun, and Qigong is spiritual fun. The 5-element Qigong healing movements are based on the foundation of spiritual universal unconditional love, feeling the spiritual love and the fun of happiness, joy, peace, contentment, and gratitude. Another way of thinking about having fun, well, the simplest way is just think of ourselves as 7-year-old kids, children, and we're on a summer vacation, and we're just so happy, enjoying the fun of a summer vacation. We're just happy, having fun. So let's have fun. Continue to have the fun. Well, now we'll move on and we'll go into the first section of our talk, colors, living in the rainbow today and every day. Colors are everywhere. We are just surrounded by colors all the time. We may not be aware of it, but the color vibrations, the colors themselves, are there all the time. Colors. So let's ask a few questions, answer a few questions. For example, where do colors come from? Where do colors go at nighttime? And why are we so interested in colors, particularly from a Qigong point of view? So I'm going to hold up here a red apple. Now, clearly it's a red apple, and I know there's a red decoration behind me, but let's just ignore that for now. It's a red apple. So it's two things. It's the color red that you're seeing. If you didn't think of it as an apple, you'd be seeing the red. So that is my point here, is that everything has a definition. All the objects have a definition in our world, the way we look and think about things. So this is an apple, but if we can separate the definition of the apple out from the color red, what we have is the red, and that's what we're really interested in. And it's the same thing goes for everything else. In the room where we are, where you may be or where I am, there may be, say, a carpet on your floor that may have colors of decoration, or it may be no carpet, it's just a wood floor, and that has color too. There may be wallpaper, and that will have colors, designs, or it could be just a painted wall, also color. You may have, say, a lamp on a table, the lampshade. and that will have a color too, or it may be the design and color of the lampstand would have color. You may also have objects on the tables and furniture. You may have furniture that has cushioning and fabric that has colors to it also. So if you separate out all these colors on all these objects and forget about them being the objects, just like I did with the apple, you have the colors. So you're really surrounded all the time by these colors. Now, the same thing goes for outdoors. If you go outdoors, you will have different colors. And the colors we're familiar with from our Qigong practices of the green and the red, the yellow, the white, and the black. Those colors are there, and plus a lot more variations and mixtures of those colors everywhere you go. So we come to living in a world that is filled with colors. So in that sense, we are living in the rainbow today and every day. Now, the question is, where do colors come from? And where do they go at night? Well, there's the interesting thing is that why do we have colors? Well, in our world, our colors that we're familiar with, in the rainbow particularly, come from the sunshine, which hits moistened air after a rainstorm, and the density of that air causes that sunshine to be diffracted and broken up into the rainbow. And nonetheless, if there is no moistened after a rainstorm air, that sunshine is coming to us invisible, but it has all those colors in it. It only takes a moment of diffraction into the moistened air to separate the colors out. But the colors are there. All the colors are inherent in white or invisible light. So the colors are always there in our daily sunshine. So now the question is, nonetheless, where does the sunshine come from? Well, it comes from the sun. But where does the sun come from? The sun comes from our Creator, the presence and the power of the invisible divine, the unconditional love of the divine, which and who has made our universe with the sun and the sunshine that creates our light. So, even though the sun is giving us our light, the source of the power of the sun to give us our light does not originate with the sun, it originates with the divine creator, the unconditional presence and love of that divine creator. If the divine creator had not willed to make the sun with those colors, we would not be having them. So the miracle of colors really is a manifestation of the divine unconditional love, which is with us all the time in the air surrounding us, which we will get to more in our next section. But so we cannot see that divine love. We cannot see the sunshine, but the colors are there all the time. So then what happens at nighttime when there is no sunshine? Well, in the room where we are, for example, we talked about the rug and the furniture and the wallpaper and lampshades, etc., fabrics on furniture. During that time, even though it's nighttime and you can't see it, the colors are still there. They don't go away because it's night. And so they're vibrating all the time, all right? And so your room, your space inside and outdoors is still filled with the vibration of those colors. And that likewise, the presence of even though there's no sunlight, the vibration and presence of that divine power is there always also, which is the originator and creator of the colors. So day or night, we're living in a rainbow. And we're surrounded by colors all the time, indoors and outdoors. So the question is then, we as Qigong practitioners are interested in the colors, but we're surrounded by them all the time, indoors and outdoors. So let's think about what happens at night. We just covered that. So we have all these colors, but it's even more expansive than we're even just saying in my descriptions here. For example, at nighttime, we have the stars of the sky in the night, millions or billions of light years away in our vast universe. Well, what are those stars? Those stars are really sun, like the sun that we have on our Earth. So you have all those galaxies with sunshine, and we're seeing them at night. So even though they're far away, not like our sun that's shedding that light on us, those stars are shedding their light on us, and that's why we see them. And what is that light? That light is the colors, the same colors that we have in our sunshine. So it's all coming to us even during the nighttime. You think of a bouquet of flowers, a gift of nature, but it's so gorgeous with the multitude of colors and the variety. And then we make choices for the clothing we're wearing, having very often to suit our mood. And that is, again, another example of how vast the experience of color is in our lives. Then we take the seasons. We have the trees in the summertime filled with green, in the autumn, the multitude of colors, in the springtime, the colors are blossoming and reds, sometimes mostly green or chartreuse, yellowish, and such a variety of colors. We have nature, we have the snow, which is white, which includes all the colors of the rainbow. And then we have, say, the earth itself, the seasons, the springtime, the summer, our thoughts, have color qualities of vibration. Then you have nature with the earth itself, the water, the sand, rocks, metals, animals, are colors of all sorts, unimaginable, infinite variety. And then the birds. Then we have the sunrise and the sunset with the beautiful colors, and water. All this is there night or day, even if we cannot see it. So we are living in a rainbow today and every day. So let's summarize here and say, I want to show you some videos here now. So I'm going to go to, I think I made my point of what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to go to screen share, and I'm going to bring up some pictures to illustrate the point again a little bit more. So here's our topic, this section, living today and every day in the rainbow. Now here's a picture from outdoors. It's actually in my neighborhood, a few houses down across the street. And this is daytime, obviously. You have here, as you can see, a driveway with asphalt, which is black, kidney color. I never thought of an asphalt driveway as a kidney color. And there's the street, black also, or blackish. It's a kidney color. And here's our white sidewalk. There is our contentment lung color. Green is easy to spot, lots of it, and the trees are taken during springtime. So the leaves are just beginning to come out. We have some yellow here. This is hay that was put down on the new seed that we planted on this lawn. So that's yellowish. We have blue sky. And I think I covered all, here's some reddish. We have a red shrub over here. So I'm going to go to the next picture, which closes up on that same scene, but a little closer up. Now here we have the red, this house is red, and we have a red shrub again there. We have reddish pots down in the lower right corner. Again, the blue sky We have a blue house way down there, blackened roof colors. And this house here is really a little more yellowish, and there's a whitish house over here. So this is outdoors. And day or night, those colors are vibrating there, whether you can see them or not. Here's the next picture. This is a lavish interior. I got this from an interior designing magazine online. And the colors are extravagant. But again, it's using this as an example so you see the interior with the colors of the red and the blue aqua here, the yellows and the oranges, and you have a brown, yellows, the greens. So it's just yellow over here on the left, and these flowers, dried flowers. So you have unlimited color variety. And so it's really kind of fascinating that we have that. And what I'm going to move on now. Again, this is the rainbow we live in. So now I'm going to this next picture. Now this was taken inside my own home. It was taken when at the end of the day, when the sun was down, but it was not yet night. So it's kind of dusk, what we call dusk. And I wanted to illustrate something here. And this gets a little bit of a poetic aside here in my talk to make some points, though. And I'm referring to a poem that's a well-known poem to some people who know poetry called The Children's Hour. And when I was in elementary school, this was a poem that was read to us. We may have had to memorize it. I don't really recall, but I always remember the first line. And the first line goes, "Between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupation that is known as the children's hour." And then the poem goes on to explain that at the end of the workday, when the parents are coming home, and it's getting dark outside because the workday is finished, and they're coming home to meet their children, and they call that the children's hour, when the parents and the children reunite. And so that's a very lovely poem. And then the poem goes on to talk about the relationship of the parents caring for their children, etc. So I took the liberty of rewriting the poem, the lines of the poem. And I took the liberty of assigning this darkening scene to getting dark and black. And so I rewrote the line to say, between the dark and between the dark and the daylight, when the night is beginning to lower, comes a pause in the day's occupation that is known as the kidney hour. That's for our Qigong experience. And so now I want to go to the next picture, also taken, however, this is at dawn, when the light is just beginning to emerge in the sky, but it's still dark outside. And this is a scene, again, in my own home. And so it's, again, between light and dark, but I'm emphasizing that the darkness is involved. And again, I took the liberty of rewriting this line and saying, between the dark and the daylight, when a new day is awakening, there is the peaceful renewal emerging that is known as the kidney hour. So that is to have a little fun, but to emphasize, even though we had daylight, we have nighttime, there's the in-between time, colors are manifest, all healing vibrations that have to do with our Qigong practices. And just for a little bit more beauty, here's a picture of the sunset, I guess, taken from on the earth. See the light, all the colors are there in that sunshine from those lights. in the sky, and then another one, bluish sky in this case. Again, the sun, the stars, with all those suns emanating their colors. And then this picture here is taken from the Teller telescope, which is a new telescope launched fairly recently. So this is taken up in the sky of magnificent colors. I'm not sure what it is a picture of a new solar system being created or something like that. But there's the light and the colors are infinite. All the colors are there, even though you cannot see each and every color, but it's mostly red and yellow and white. The blues and the greens are there. So there is the living in the rainbow. And we're ready now to move on to our next topic. And we'll stop the screen share. And then we'll begin with our new topic about living at the beginning of the universe today and every day. Okay, this is a fascinating area also. We're going to now move into the next topic of living today and every day before the beginning of the universe. In our Spring Forest Qigong practices, in some of our meditation, it is suggested that we go back to the beginning of the universe, to the emptiness of the beginning of the universe, at a state of consciousness between being and non-being. And I would like to consider that the beginning of the universe, not so much in this moment as far as our Qigong practice, but I'll introduce a little bit of a scientific understanding, because I am going to be talking about living today and every day before the beginning of the universe. And I'd like to therefore introduce a little bit of science, because at the beginning of the universe, in what's commonly known as the Big Bang in the scientific world, out of which our current universe has exploded and is expanding and expanding even so into a space which is infinite and endless and eternal. That is the physical universe we are in. So our consciousness of going into the emptiness works very perfectly for our meditation purposes. But out of curiosity and my thinking about today's presentation has led me to considering the beginning of the universe in a more physical, maybe somewhat scientific way. So I want to read a sentence from a book by Neil deGrasse Tyson, who is the director and manager of the Hayden Planetarium in New York City. He's an established, for a position like that, an established scientist, written many books on astrophysics. And in the very first sentence of his book, I will read it. In the beginning, nearly 14 billion years ago, all the space and all the matter and all the energy of the known universe was contained in a volume less than 1/trillionth the size of the period that ends this sentence. I'll repeat that part of it again. 1/trillionth the size of the period that ends this sentence. So, the Big Bang exploded out of this minuscule, something that we couldn't, with our eyes, we couldn't even see. It was so small. Yet it exploded with such power that our physical universe was created nearly 14 billion years ago. So I want to consider that. And why is this important? Because it's an aspect similar to the experience of the colors that we've talked about, that the colors are always there. We want to explore what it means at the beginning of the universe, at that Big Bang. Now, hypothetically, one could say, well, that little tiny, tiny 1/1,000,000th of a dot size, was that always there? Or was there a creator who made it? And before it was made by the creator, there was nothing there in the physical sense. In the spiritual realms, I'm not going to venture into that. There are spiritual realms that Master Lim often will refer to. So the question is kind of a moot point. Was there anything there before that tiny, tiny, tiny thing was created? I like to think that there was nothing there, and the power of the divine made it. So either way, it works. So I'll go on my line of thinking that there was nothing there, and the divine power created that, then it exploded. So in the nothingness, the emptiness, there was always nonetheless something. And from our perspective, it has to be the divine creative power of unconditional love, which we talk about very often in our Qigong practices. That being said, then, that divine presence existed in a space which is infinite and eternal, and nothing there that we know of in terms of a physical dimension, as far as our living in this physical universe. There was nothing there, but there was something there, and that is the divine power, presence of unconditional love. Now, it's said in Taoism that if you can describe the Tao, then it's not the Tao, and we're tinkering around a very dangerous territory here. So I'm certainly not going to dispute that, because I agree. Not that my agreement would matter. But it's clearly no one in any religion or philosophy is able to absolutely describe the fullness of, say, the Tao or the infinite or the power of the Creator or the unconditional love. So that being said, it doesn't mean that we should be discouraged, because we can still talk about the Tao. We can still talk about its characteristics, because there are characteristics. And we'll talk about some of those characteristics. One characteristic of the Tao is that our universe is expanding, expanding, and even as it's expanding into more and more of that infinite eternal space, or into that eternal presence. I don't even like to use the word space, because there is no limit to the space. So it's kind of infinite, but that's kind of irrelevant. What is relevant is that there's a presence. So I like the word presence more. And so our universe, as huge as it is expanding. But that expansion and the size of our universe, as vast as it is to us, may be infinitely small in terms of the vastness of that presence, which is unlimited. Our universe may be no bigger than the grain of sand. And for all we know, it very well may be. So the third point I want to make about the characteristics of the Tao in terms of our interest in it is that when our universe was created in the nothingness, it wasn't as if now we have this universe and it's in a box and there are no windows on it and no doors on it, and our universe is self-contained, and that presence that made it happen is outside of the box of our universe. No, our box, we call it a box, of our expanding universe is filled with space, the same empty space that was there, that same empty space that held the presence, which is what we're really talking about, the presence of the pure unconditional love. that was always there before the Big Bang is still present inside our universe, which is not a box really, expanding, but in all the space and all the emptiness of our universe, that presence is manifest, as well as right here on our Earth. So that is the importance of why I'm bringing up this, is because that presence of pure unconditional love always existed before the Big Bang, before the creation of that minute thing, physical thing that exploded. And after the explosion, that presence of pure unconditional love has to always be manifest still everywhere in our universe, in our space, in our lives, on planet Earth, and throughout the whole universe. And that's why I'm saying we can live every day before the beginning of the universe, today, and every day. Before the beginning of the universe, today, and every day. It's all the same. That's who we are. That's where we are. So I want to go just kind of summarizing that, because that's what I'm trying to make my point, is that we were breathing in when we talked about the colors. In this presence, this power, the Tao, created our sun, created our universe, created the colors, which we breathe in, and it is the universal unconditional love, which is present everywhere, and we're breathing that in because it's present everywhere, and we can't see it. We can't see the colors, and we can't see the presence, but we're breathing it in all the time. So that's in summary what I want to say about that. And it all, again, it ties into our Qigong practices of the 5 elements and the colors of that go with the happiness and the joy, the peace, contentment, and the gratitude, and the color vibrations, and the presence of that pure unconditional love when we do our gratitude. That all is the completeness of where I want to go with my first 2 parts of our discussion. And we're breathing it in. We can't see it, but it's there. All these aspects, and this is our experience. And I want to highlight it because the fact that we can't see it, but yet it is so present, and it is the essence of everything that is in our world at all times. So with that, we're going to take a moment here, and then we will go on to the next phase of talking about loving kindness and Buddha's metta meditation. Now for the third component of our Chi Talk today, I want to introduce you to the meditation called loving kindness. Loving kindness is a meditation that was developed by Buddha himself. It's practiced widely in by Buddhist monks, meditated upon for hours at a time. It's called loving kindness. In the Pali language, it means loving kindness is the word is metta, M-E-T-T-A, but in English it's loving kindness. And it's a principal teaching of the Buddha, and it can be practiced on different levels of depth and attention. I personally have memorized it, and it has been very significant, a part of my conscious and subconscious thinking process. But it will come to that more as we go along. Monks can meditate on it for hours and hours at a time, going into various levels of depth. So let me show you the meditation itself, and then we can talk about it. Here we are. This is the 6 statements of the loving kindness meditation. Now, there are a variety of different words, different versions of this meditation. I found this one to be the simplest, but totally profound and easiest to grasp, and I memorized this one, and that's the one we'll use. And it overlaps with Spring Forest Qigong 5-element healing movements. And I will get to that too in a moment. So here are the 6 statements. May I be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May I be happy and peaceful in body, heart, and mind. May I be as healthy and strong as can be. May I live with ease. May I give and receive all the love that I need. May I feel that love right now. And with the one, may I live with ease, that doesn't mean that we are comfortable in the most material sense of the word, a very easy lifestyle. It means may I be at ease with myself, with my spirit, with the creation, and my soul purpose. So now let me explain why these overlap and how they overlap. May I be, with the Spring Forest Qigong 5 elements, may I be safe and protected from inner and outer harm is a reflection, echoes, and parallel to the 5th movement of gratitude and absence of fear, because we want to be protected, that we want to be absent of fear, outward fear and inner fears. So we want to be protected from such inner and outer harm. And the second statement, may I be happy and peaceful in body, heart, and mind. Happy, of course, is the first of the 5 movements, and peaceful is the 3rd movement. Happy being the moving of yin and yang, peaceful is connecting heaven and earth. May I be healthy maybe as healthy and strong as can be, covers all of the 5 elements. May we be very healthy. May I live with ease has to do with the 4th movement, having to do with contentment. May I be with ease with myself in all ways. And we'll come to this again in a moment or two. May I give and receive all love that I need, and may I feel that love right now. And that, of course, has to do with the 2nd movement for the heart. So there is, and that's why this is beautiful reflection and fits in with the Spring Forest Qigong 5 element healing movements. Now, there's onward, though, we go. Besides focusing on ourselves, may I be safe, we have another version, may you be safe and protected, and it goes through the same sequence of 6 lines. And the Buddhist monks will do that too, and they may do the you version before the I version. It's discretionary. And then the you actually could have a lot of variations to that, which is the you could be your closest, most intimate persons in your life, being your family and friends. It could be other friends and acquaintances that you don't know so well in your neighborhood, and people you just know from wherever they may be, and as not as intimately as the closest and most loved. You could be all the other persons in your community and everywhere on earth that you do not know, all the people you don't know. And the 4th and most interesting, you could be unfriendly persons in the world that behave in ways that are harmful to humanity. So that is the way the you can be practiced. And then beyond that, there is a version that may we be protected in body, heart, and mind. So that being said, we want to do the meditation itself, but the meditation can be gone to a lot of different levels. And in that, the we here includes all living things, persons, animals, and plant life. But I'm going to stop the screen share now. I want to explain for a moment the depth that this can go, because we're speaking in our Qi Talk about the possibilities of transformation and opening up blockages. And we do have blockages that are happening all day, and very often they're dispelled easily. But we also practice our Qigong so we can break blockages up or open them up throughout our body. And particularly for healing, there are blockages that are deeply embedded in the cells of our body, bones, muscles, and everywhere in the organs, and caused by traumas and memories and teachings that we've had throughout our life, and they've been lodged there. So we really went on the deepest level to go to those and try and open up those blockages. So I'll tell you briefly a little story about myself as an example. And I'm not saying my example would be something that you would follow, because everyone is different and their own personal life stories are different. And the incident I'm going to tell you about is actually very insignificant. But in a meditation, it led me to thinking of myself as a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old playing in the driveway of the home where I lived. It was a very relatively narrow driveway, enough for the car to go through from the street to the garage in the back of the property. And on one side of the driveway was the wall of one side of our house, with a window, or the kitchen window, where my mother would be overlooking the driveway where I would be playing with my little baseball glove or balls and other toys. And she would make sure that I was, not running around or being safe. And on the other side of the driveway would be a fence from our neighbor on the house on the other side. And that was the space I lived in. Well, it's a very insignificant thing, and I would always be very happy as a child playing there. But one day in a recent more meditation, I went back to that time as that child, and I thought to myself, who was I? And it occurred to me that, well, I was very happily innocent at the time, but in terms of my modern awareness, I was also a product of a lot of things that were very constraining. And those constraints were built into the cellular level of my body. Constraints as to my identity, my culture, the teachings and beliefs of my community, and what my ancestors handed down to me, things that I was taught about to be fearful of in school, and there was a lot of things about the larger world, and a lot of misjudgments that as adults we really, particularly practicing Qigong, really don't, practice that way or feel that way. But as a child, that was what I was taught. As I went back in that meditation recently, and I saw that child, Henry, being that way, I said, all of a sudden, I felt kind of sick to my stomach about it. And my muscles all became all jittery and tight, and so I was not happy about that. And so what I did is I brought the light and the unconditional love of the universe into that driveway, into that child who was there, and wiping away all that, and it just transformed. It was a transformation. That's what we want to do. And I feel it opened up blockages within me. So I want to say to you that this is a possibility of how you might look at and I think that Buddhist monks, when they practice, their intention is to go deeply into themselves, to become transformed, become radiators of love and compassion and stabilizing forces in our world. And that's why they have devoted themselves to the practice of the being spiritual monks. So all that being said, I think we could go on now to, I want to say also, do our practice of Qigong, we're trying to be transformed. Now we could have transforms when we do a 5 elements. We can feel pretty good for 24 hours or so, or sometimes less. And we have temporary transformation. We're going to talking about deeper transformation, or what I'll call permanent transformation. That's where, generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, you got to go deep into all those traumas that you don't know. Go back into your memories of your ancestors and your parents and what you've been taught, and how they've been lodged on certain levels deeply in your subconscious mind, and try and open them up to the light and the unconditional love. And so that is something you can't do all the time. It's hard work sometimes, and some people are not just conditioned to do it that way. So we'll go back to our screen share, and we will then be able to begin meditation. Now, before we even start the meditation, what I would like us to do is take a moment to close our eyes and think about what we've been through today so far. That is, feeling the colors in the air and space in the room where you are and outdoors, from the light, from the stars, the invisible light, the invisible air, the colors are there. And in the same way, in that air that we're breathing, take in the unconditional love of the universe, which was there from the beginning of the universe and is there today and every day. So just feel that unconditional love, feel those colors in the air. You are breathing them in now. And that's what we've been talking about today. Breathing in always, because it's always there. We can't see it. We can see our surroundings, but we can't see the air. And we breathe in those colors, the healing colors, always healing colors, and they're always loving feelings. So just wanted to have a little experience with that. And now we're going to go to our first meditation. May I live with ease. So again, it's about you looking into yourself, feeling your ease, and going back as deep as you want into yourself, or for going easy on yourself. Just thinking about, I feel pretty good about myself right now. I'm very content. Or you may try and look back, are there levels beyond my surface levels that I'm really not at ease? You know, some memories and traumas I've had that still linger in my subconscious mind. I want to get them out of there. So let's take about 2 minutes to do this. All right, very, very good. And now we gently open our eyes and come back to our moment. And I hope that was meaningful. And as I said, I memorized all 6 of these statements, and I find that they come back to me. They're in my conscious, subconscious area, and throughout my day, the thoughts will be there. It just changed my way of feeling and living. I don't practice like Buddhist monks for hours on end, but nonetheless, the memory and the knowledge of these 6 statements have very, very profound effect on me and transforming me. Here's the next meditation we'll do again for about 2 minutes, and this will be may you, and you can choose whatever you would like, be your family and loved ones or acquaintances, everyone that you don't know or unfriendly persons. Whatever it may be, you are wishing and praying for them in your meditation, visioning and messaging how they may live with ease. And so we'll start now with about 2 minutes. Okay, so let's close, gently open our eyes, take 2 or 3 deep, comfortable breaths, and may we then picture in our lower dantian, our ball of energy light, our chi, spinning and spinning and spinning is faster and smaller and brighter, smaller and smaller, faster and faster, brighter and brighter, until it becomes a little energy point, a little pill, a dan that we tuck deep inside behind our navel. And now let's harvesting our chi a little bit, rub our hands together, finger between the fingers. We'll get some warmth, then we'll massage our face 3 times gently up to the hairline, brow, on the side, like the heart, and then we will massage our ears. So I want to summarize now where we have been in our talk today. Briefly, we have talked about living today and every day in the rainbow, and we've breathed that in, aware that the rainbow is in the air we see, that we can't see, and we're breathing it at all times. Living today and every day before the beginning of the universe. The unconditional love is in the space in the air we breathe. And we have done spiritual transformation through loving kindness, meditation, rewriting our stories into light and love. So I wish to say thank you and for allowing me into your home, from my home to your home. And 2 other notes and special slides I have today. I want to thank you for being here on today's Chi Talk. It has been my pleasure to share these thoughts with you. And if you have any questions or comments, I can be reached at my email, hansge@yahoo.com, and I'd be very delighted to respond to any thoughts you have. Also, very, very important is that I will be teaching Level 1 Chi Activation class on 2 weeks from today, Saturday and Sunday, September 16th and 17th. Classes are from 12 noon to 4 p.m. They are 4 hours each class, and you will go deeper into Spring Forest Qigong and learning about Qigong in more profound levels, and you will become certified that you've achieved and taken the class. It will change your life, it will deepen and transform your experience with Qigong. And so I look forward to having you in the class. It'll be my delight, exciting class, and there's so much to learn. And I think that we will have a great adventure and a lot of fun together. Then also I want to refer to the books that I used in the class today in the Chi Talk. One is called Radical Friendship by Kate Johnson, from which I've taken the loving kindness meditation, the 6 points, and then Loving Kindness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana, and that is considered the Bible on the subject of loving kindness and and practicing the metta. And no better book out there than that one if you wish to pursue and learn more about the metta meditation. And then there's the book called Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. And then you'll see on the slide is the actual meditation, metta, loving kindness, the 6 points. And I would encourage you to copy them down and memorize them. It will be bless your life. It will become part of your consciousness and your thinking process. It relates to Spring Forest Qigong, the 5-element Qigong healing movements in a very profound way. And I'm sure that you will have a great deal of blessing from doing that. So I encourage you to memorize the beautiful meditations. They're quite beautiful, very profound, and you'll be very happy that you've done that. We share our love for one another. May we all have a great and peaceful and open hearts, as hopefully through our talk today. In conclusion, I want to refer to Master Chen Yulin's book again, Born a Healer, and express my gratitude to him, particularly for the captivating statements he made in that book that brought my attention so clearly focused on his teaching. The one was that the teaching of Qigong should not be an esoteric practice, practiced in remote parts on our planet Earth, but should be made available to everybody and anyone who wished to learn it. And second statement, which is so powerful, is that Master Lin then went with that intention to develop Spring Forest Qigong with the simplest and most powerful forms of Qigong, so that the complexity would not be a barrier for people learning it. Simple and most powerful, and that is Spring Forest Qigong. So I want to thank you, Master Lin, for bringing us Spring Forest Qigong. Thank you for all the support team at Spring Forest Qigong, the Qigong masters and the teachers, and everyone who belongs to the Spring Forest Qigong community, and to the ancient masters who developed Qigong through the millennia, and through all of our ancestors and your ancestors too, who have brought us to this point. With all that, I want to say thank you again, and may you have a very blessed and peaceful day every day.